Twitter thread of like one-hit wonders, like actual one-hit wonders of like people who had a song that like a lot of the one-hit wonders that were actually one hit, I'd go on Spotify, and it was pretty dang accurate. Like the song, the remixes all was their top 5, and the rest was like 10 mil under.
I saw an entire thread of that on Twitter yesterday, too.
Yeah, that's what I was going through.
Oh shit.
Probably
I'm trying.
same thread.
What other songs did I see on that list? Oh well, there were two big ones. The first was the charity case that Drake gave to Block Boy for "Look Alive,"
Yep.
and then the second was "Whoopty."
Whoopty.
Do you remember that one? It had like the Indian or the India orchestra like
Yeah.
intros. Yeah.
No, just it's some of them it's whack. You forget like that person. That was really it. They hit on that and they just disappeared.
It was a lot of hip hop. I noticed, like a lot of hip hop, more so than like any other genre. Because like there weren't many. I don't think there were any EDM hits that kind of came and went, and like artists that just disappeared. Like you at least had an artist that would try or that would have something that popped off. Like I don't know.
Yeah, hip hop's more though like do or die than other genres. Like a lot of genres, people will kind of. Oh, I need to like rejoin or something because your camera's not popping up. A lot of them will like let you go.
Yeah.
They don't even try to like mess with you again. But I feel like I don't know, the ED or hip hop is just like, good luck, buddy. If you don't make it, we're not helping you out. Type of thing.
It's also one of those where like the topic is very easy to like transcend. Like if you have something that you can flex on somebody, it's very wide ranging, and you can write certain amount of hits, get away with different things. Like traditional pop music, a little bit more wide ranging, but you also need to have good lyric. Like there's a certain standard that you kind of have to hit. EDM you could technically get away with, but at the same time, there's also an art to it that like making a good beat is not always enough, and it has to be way more flushed out. I don't know.
No, it's true.
Condog and Scar, thank you for the follow.
1 sec.
And he's back.
Well, it wasn't giving me your video regardless of what I was trying.
Is it working now?
Yeah, it is now.
Okay, I was gonna say it's showing up on mine, so that's like I wasn't. Also a good day because the streets of New York are kind of lit right now.
Yeah.
The Knicks closing out. They're going a little hard down at Madison Square Garden right now.
I saw y'all are cooking right now.
The 7th Avenue shut down.
In a lot of sports.
Oh, I know.
Hockey too.
The Knicks won their first round of the playoffs. Emily's.
Next round is gonna be raw because you got to deal with Giannis.
Hi, folks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting it to be easy by any means, but.
Well, that's depending on if the Bucks get through the Heat, which I think they will. They should.
I mean, they're down what 3-1 or 3-2? Is it 3-1 or 3-2?
Yeah, they're down 3-1, but like a little bit of that was without Giannis. He was hurt.
Yeah, and
so it could just be a
had Giannis been in there, they probably would have won those 2 games. In my opinion.
Oh, they lost one with him.
Yeah, but that's the most.
I think it's a flow thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, what's his name put up 60. So like.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler's not putting up 60 every time.
He can be a dog.
Giannis is still going to be hurt. That's fine, but I don't think Jimmy Butler's putting up 60 again. That's not happening.
Got 11 in the first.
Yeah.
He only gets cooking farther the longer the game goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
How you been? You got the Battle of LA.
Oh yeah, true.
Well, the Battle of California, NorCal.
I was gonna say because the Lakers got their shit pushed in today, and then Sacramento and the Warriors play.
Yeah.
In a little bit, right?
That's more Cali, I guess, than LA. That would actually be the Clippers and the Lakers, I guess. But yeah, the Warriors and the Kings play.
Yeah.
Good in like a few minutes. They should start soon.
Good old Andy Miller is gonna be losing his shit for the next 3 hours. So
Why is he a Warriors fan?
he owns the Kings.
Oh, Andy Miller does.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
huh?
owner of NRG owns the Sacramento Kings.
The owner of who? NRG.
NRG, Andy Miller, the owner of NRG, owns the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, is he like a stakeholder or something?
He like owns them, owns them.
No, I thought their owner was like some other guy. Maybe that's their GM they're showing. He very well could.
Who owns the Sacramento Kings?
I don't know. Do 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 do.
I'm trying
Pretty
to see.
sure he's Indian. Or like Indian descent. I don't know what you. Asian.
Then maybe he owns minority share of the Kings. I know he owns some portion of it. And why is this not letting me?
Yeah, I don't know what he owns of it.
Let me see. Andy Miller.
There, it's right
Let me-
there. Andy Miller, Sacramento Kings.
He's a co-owner of the Sacramento Kings.
Okay.
So yeah, big weekend for him.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know how you can know every sub owner of every team on
I
top
don't.
of knowing the owner. No, I'm saying like me.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I stood no chance there. No chance. I can't know all that.
I thought you meant me. Like,
No, not you. I was being fed to the wolves there. But
yeah. So Vivek Ranadev it looks like the majority owner. He owns Tipco Software, Business Intelligence, and then Andy Miller's in with that as well. So yeah,
pretty good dude, pretty successful dude. And I would say, yeah, if you even partly own something, you probably do cheer a little harder than a lot of people.
oh
Like,
yeah,
you're at
oh
least
yeah.
a diehard.
Could you imagine owning, like, even just scaling this down to a gaming level? Imagine the nerves of sitting in a stadium when you actually have ownership in the team.
Yeah. Like owning and I mean, the dude's like been a part of the rebuild. Like this ownership group was kind of the turnaround of the
Yeah.
Kings.
I mean, they haven't been
That
good
little
in
story.
a long time.
Yeah,
So,
but hey, I mean, big week though for what is it? Jersey reveals too. I
oh,
wanted to drop that big week
are
with
you referring to the
G2s.
G2 thing? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's insane. Like, now, granted, the precedent, might I remind people, the precedent was set by NA first. Technically, Team Liquid did this first.
was it as good in your opinion?
Just put it in the bedroom. What?
Did you think it
No,
was
they're
as
not there.
clean? I guess is the way I'll word it.
I would say this one is more true to the G2 brand, but
Yeah.
there is no denying that the Team Liquid Captain America, Iron Man, and Spider-Man jerseys were just flat out nuts. The fact that that's actually a thing is insane. Yeah, yes, I know Khan's going to point out CLG did the Americas thing first. That's not what I'm talking about. We are talking about jersey partnerships with big name brands, specifically Marvel and DC.
Yeah,
That's insane.
and getting Marvel at the height of Marvel was cool.
I know. That's the best part. And
Like,
that was like such a chip shot for Marvel too. It's like, you want to get the
It
gaming
was.
community, partner with the one team that's like really freaking good in North America at the time.
I mean, hey, you gotta give it to Liquid. They've always been good at funding
That they have.
and partnerships. They've been good at that side. Albeit teams is a whole different breed, but their funding and their partnerships have always been pretty crisp.
I do have to recuse myself from conversations around Team Liquid's funding and ownership purely because Disney is involved in that in some capacity. It's
Yeah.
specifically Disney and Axiomatic. I have no clue to what capacity at all. I've never seen it. I've
Mhm.
never heard it. But given that I obviously work for the company, I cannot comment on that whatsoever.
I mean, that
But
makes sense.
wouldn't be allowed to even if I tried.
But I mean, hey, they have some clean stuff. This G2 one is just, it looks cool.
Oh,
Like,
it's so
even
nice.
taking out comparisons, it just looks really cool. It's definitely a tough bar to set. Like, for everyone else releasing a custom. Like,
I mean, to be fair, the thing that they can do, and I'm curious to see what Golden Guardians does on Friday, which this is not leaking anything. This is just based off of the one reply that I got to my tweet on it. It was a
yep.
I can't
Yeah,
remember
their
what
their
the
editor.
video editor or something from Golden Guardians basically said
Yep.
keep an eye out for later this week. So clearly, we're getting a Golden Guardians MSI jersey. Thank God.
Yeah.
But I have no. I pray to God they're smart and do red, white, and blue. I really, really hope they're
Yeah.
smart and do it.
I mean, we'll hope. We'll hope that, like, I don't know, it's really good. I am curious. Like, I don't really. This is gonna sound bad, but I just don't think anyone cares about a Golden Guardians jersey reveal.
I think if they do the right thing here, they will make people care. Because people have been
Maybe.
praying to get something like the Team
Yeah.
Liquid and CLG jerseys that just having something that people can actually represent for North America if they do it right is going to be big.
I
Now,
just wonder if a lot of people will buy it.
I mean the biggest hurdle that you're going to have to overcome is the fact that you're going to try and sell a jersey that will likely not be there in time for the tournament. Even if you get express shipping, there's no like that's the biggest problem. And this is the like we brought this up before and I don't get this.
Yeah.
Why so I will say this. Somebody messaged me during LCS finals whenever I put my tweet out there saying that Golden Guardians and Cloud9 need to like have their MSI jersey orders in now and like put them up. Somebody messaged me that basically, you know, people might be trying. To which it was like, okay, well, that's only in response to the fact that my tweet talking about that absolutely popped the fuck off. And where the hell was this conversation prior to that? So, like, I don't get why, if you are a team that makes playoffs, dedicate just 2 hours to having a rough idea, a rough outline of what this jersey could and should look like. The second it's down to 4 teams, have it ready to go. Have it ready to pull the trigger. That way like Tuesday after finals is over, people can order immediately. I know it's not technically that simple. I know it's a little bit more
Should be.
complicated, but like that, you got to get these logistical things down. You have
Yep.
to. Because that's the type of stuff that's going to make a massive difference for people.
And I just don't see how none of them, like, have done this before or know a good system. This isn't like a newer thing. You'd think they can tap into each other and at least give some help from each other. Like, the owners usually are pretty talkative around each other. So I don't see them being too stuck up to be like, hey, what's a good system in place for this?
And they just
And
had
other
their
ones
owners
be like,
meeting last week.
really?
Yeah.
Then yeah, that's not a bad way to do it. But it's just like crazy to me that we're at the point where I mean, they should be doing this pretty much for most of these events, and it's still a rarity.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a normal thing. I mean, G2 seems to have it down, but G2's always been kind of
Yeah,
ahead of
G2
the
has
curve.
always been on top of it.
Yeah,
Always. They've always
like
had
they
a
didn't
Worlds
even slow
jersey.
down. Yeah, well, I just meant they haven't even slowed down with a crazy firing off of tweets. Like, their owner, well, CEO, whatever you want to call him, like, went wild and they had to get rid of him, and they didn't even slow down. They've
Nope.
been perfectly fine. Nothing about their business has changed. Whatever they have set up and whatever, like, backups they have in place, it's working. Like,
Yeah. And Con, I know the people are going to bring up, oh, they've known that they're going to MSI since early March. Yes, that's why this deal with DC was able to go through. But don't think for a single second that they wouldn't have had a jersey regardless of whether they locked it yesterday or 2 months ago, because they've proven it. Every year that they've ever gone to Worlds or MSI, they've had an independent jersey for it.
Yeah.
So G2's track record absolves any of like the commentary around like, oh, they had 2 months notice. Yes, that's why the DC partnership was able to happen. Sure. Same reason why TL was probably able to negotiate with Marvel early on. It's like, look, we're winning the split. We're going to MSI. Like, come on. Let's do this.
Yep.
But
yeah, I'm not buying that other groups are waiting till Friday. I mean, even now, G2 like feels like they waited a little long.
yeah.
Like, I don't know how else you say it. It's just, you can't be risking. I get well, they're in plans too. Yeah, why are you risking it?
The thing with the G2 one, because they did the partnership, something tells me they might have had legal loopholes that they had to wait for. When you're waiting
True.
for a third, like an external party, there's always going to be those hurdles that you try and overcome. They probably wanted to release this like midway through playoffs if they had the choice,
Yeah.
because they've known that they're going for months. But
Yeah.
gut feeling says hurdles got in the way, it delayed it. It's still better to put it out than to not do it at all, even if it is delayed and they get knocked out of the tournament before anybody can even get it.
Also, I'll give them the benefit of it's in Europe.
Yeah.
So they can sell jerseys at the event, and it's way more feasible. Like, I understand them selling jerseys at the event. If they have a stand, they're probably going to sell out, if I had
Oh
to
my
guess.
god, if they have a stand, every bit of clothing they have is going to be gone. And
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet 2 hours at most.
Yep.
I'd
Now-
be shocked if it lasted longer.
Now, other teams, you can't really use that excuse when most of your fan base is back home.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing you can do. People don't, especially right now, in right now's economy, I don't think a ton of people are going cross continent
Yep.
to watch League of Legends. So,
No.
like, just probably not happening. But
And look,
so I can get theirs.
the thing I will add to this, the lesson that everybody should be taking away, is that we are sending 4 teams to Worlds from Europe, from North America, from China and Korea. For NA, start your fucking planning now. Get on top of it. It's early enough in the season that everybody in the top 7 that thinks that they can realistically make a run should be prepping for the chance that they have a World's jersey. And that should immediately be made available to the public the moment you lock it. Hell, if I'm 100 Thieves and I know that there's a chance that we might even end up in finals and we lock it early on by making winners finals and you have a week and a half delay, release it immediately. If you can start seeing those jerseys at finals and then obviously it picks up from there, that's great. That's a win. That's a dub.
Yeah, I mean, they should be. You guys should be. C9 should be. FlyQuest should be already pre-thinking this. They probably are. FlyQuest is pretty good about jerseys, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Like, they're one of the better ones. And, I mean, even Golden Guardians should probably be prepping.
Golden
a
Guardians,
Worlds one.
Golden Guardians, NRG. I'm trying to the full list. C9, FlyQuest, 100 Thieves, Golden Guardians, NRG, and TL. Am I missing anybody? Oh, EG. Oh wait, no, not EG.
No,
Never mind. I just
yeah.
remembered with all.
That's
of this
why
shit.
I'm saying, like, I
Yeah.
think genuinely, like, Immortals, TSM, Dig,
Probably EG, now.
EG are probably not going to be there.
Yeah.
If we all had to guess. So I don't see why you wouldn't. Like,
Yeah, why you
Go
wouldn't
do
just in
that.
case. And even then, as Khan said,
Yeah.
just prep one anyways. Even if you're not. Just
I mean, yeah,
fuck
TSM
it.
could, but I don't think they would.
No, I know TSM would. But
Yeah, I was going to say, even if they made it, even if they made Worlds through some miraculous amounts of just godlike interference and heaven touched down to earth, I think that Reggie would still sit there and go, fuck him. and not
Yep.
put one in because he wants them to lose at this point. Like, I'm pretty sure he wants them to lose.
Yeah, Scar, the person who did the jerseys for FlyQuest, and I forget who else they might have worked for before, is now with C9. The problem with C9 is that they're doing their 10-year anniversary jersey,
Hmm.
which I doubt they change. Given that they haven't historically, they've not
Yep.
released a World's jersey. I don't expect them to do anything there. I mean, realistically, they could just re-release the same damn jersey with a red stripe somewhere in it to change it up, just that much, and that would be enough. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe they'll release something. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't have something prepped if you're even a top six team. Like, you might as well assume you're in the running.
Yeah.
No, I mean, assuming 100 Thieves didn't pick up a bad player in this mid laner,
They didn't.
which
There's no way.
I'm gonna assume he's good. I'm just gonna assume. Let's just assume for this sake. We know their coach is good enough to win in an A, albeit outside of that weird. I don't really get why he worded it the way he did. XC9 head coach. Like, bro,
Like, dude, he was with the best. He was with the best North American roster of all time.
He was with the only NA run that's ever four-peated, technically, like ever four-peated, and got second place at an international event, like, which is for us is a win.
Yeah.
For us is basically a win. Like, and they're like, well, he had a stint at C9 for 3 months. We just wanted to put that on there. It's like,
yeah.
Okay,
now,
bro. Like,
as one of my Team Liquid Team Liquid fan friends, pointed out to me, that Kane and Team Liquid did notably have drafting issues. Like that, there's no denying it. Even though TL was by far the best roster, like it was purely due to skill gap. They were getting out drafted, especially in 2019, pretty consistently, and it became so much of a problem that we go to international events and we would just never adapt. We'd stick to the same shit over and over again. So I hope we have good enough coaching around him, whether that's Nuke Duck as an assistant or whoever else is going to be. But even then, I mean, technically, you look at our drafts come playoffs, and that was a little bit sketch. But hopefully, with the right coaching, we'll be fine.
I don't see, though, the players on 100 Thieves. I know this sounds weird, but it almost feels like he's a placeholder in some ways. He's a player coach.
Yeah.
The way they're bringing him in. I don't think 100 Thieves is bringing him in as the ultimatum decider, which I know in LCS sounds terrible because people hate this when the players take over the coach. They want the coaches to be more alpha male, but the 100 Thieves roster doesn't need that right now. I don't think they do. I think they are good enough the way they are. Like, they just need somebody to keep them focused.
Yeah.
They don't really need somebody to tell them what to pick. I don't think Double Lift, I'll put it that way. I don't think Double Lift or Closer needs somebody to tell them what to pick. I think they just need somebody to tell them to quit inting.
Yeah. Now,
like, that's about it.
I will say this, and I didn't realize this until I looked at the Reddit thread. Do you know who the youngest roster is in the LCS?
Is it 100 Thieves?
Yeah.
Even with this change?
Quid is 18.
Okay, so it's with the change, though.
He's 18. Tenacity, I think, is 19. Busio, I think, is 18 or 19 as well. Double Lift is, granted, an old man, but literally, we have an insanely young roster. That it's like, I know I'm talking a lot of shit on Twitter right now about us winning the split, because I'm going to, and fuck anybody that tries to get me to do anything otherwise. But we legitimately have building blocks for the next 3 to 4 years that I'm expecting us to continue to grow. I really am.
This is the same thing 100 Thieves says every year.
Okay, hold up. Let me paint this picture, because this
you guys are the goats of 3 years down the road. if there was a GOAT
It
franchise
works.
of it.
It works though. That's the thing. Like, okay, take this back a bit. Hold on, my camera's freezing a little bit. Let me turn it off, turn it back on.
Well, you guys have won twice, right?
Once. But let's
Oh.
take this back, okay? Okay? Let's go back to 2021. Or
Yeah.
2021. We pick up a decently good roster directly from Golden Guardians of Closer and Jungle, Demonte of mid lane, Huhi and FBI bot lane, and plug them in with Someday top. And we have these weird issues where Someday and Closer aren't really clicking. It just seems like the timing is off with them. Bot lane looks good, and overall we were fine for the most part, but there was a clear glaring weakness in mid lane with Demonte. So much so to the point where we couldn't beat C9 in playoffs, and we just kind of collapsed. We finished 4th in 2021 Spring Split. We made 2 changes in the offseason. We brought in Abadage, a middle-of-the-pack EU mid laner, and a phenomenal head coach in Reaper. We ended up winning the 2021 Summer Split, dominating in bot lane, and the coaching staff unlocking players that people otherwise thought, quite frankly, had reached their ceiling.
Yeah, but
This is the exact same thing again, and people are really going to tell me that we can't win it. Are you fucking
all
kidding
I'm saying is not even a rocket scientist thought you needed to get rid of Demonte.
Yeah, but not even a rocket scientist was looking at this roster and saying that Bjergsen was playing well.
First place, IMO. I know. I'm just saying you guys wasted time with him.
Agreed, but nobody else was available. Abadage was on the roster. The only reason we got him was because Schalke was closing up shop.
I don't know if this team is as dominant as what that roster was with Demonte, though. That roster with Demonte, I thought, had like a clear training weight. Like everyone was saying, they're like, "Holy cow, they're gonna get rid of him and become animals."
Yes and no. We needed a coaching change as well because there were clear issues with FBI and Huhi not fully, like, they were good, but they weren't great.
Yeah.
And then in top lane, Someday and Closer could just not get on the same page. It was like the same timing issues that we talk about now with Tenacity going in early. It was almost a reverse of that. Someday would just be late to everything. Like, really, really late.
Yeah.
And it is so eerily similar to just having the same thing. And the great part about this is there is the one piece that we are all talking about right now as the other potential problem in Closer with his champion pool and limited availability. He's the only other import on the roster.
You just read what Con wrote?
Yeah, I did. And I immediately went off of that.
Is that your worst fear?
That is my worst. But no, I mean, I am on record saying at the beginning of this split that I was legitimate, that I think that Busio is 100% the face of this franchise. If Closer can stay, then great. But Bjergsen and Doublelift were worries for me that we might eventually have to replace. Bjergsen we ended up having to replace much quicker than I expected. And
Doublelift's great.
Doublelift is good. So, like, everything that could possibly be happening is, like, working in our favor. I get it wasn't the best spring result, by all means, but the fact that we identified that and are fixing it in the best possible ways, how are you not excited as a 100 Thieves fan? And as an NA fan, that a roster that is 3/5 North American is doing this. It's great. Life's good.
3/5 North American.
That's not a sentence you normally hear in NA. As fucked up as that might be.
No, that's good. You usually don't hear that in a good way.
No. And the best part is, two out of 5 of those are incredibly young and still going to develop.
We'll compromise on it. We'll compromise. But that is like not how. I don't know. I just can't believe this is where we've gone. And for the NA like copium crowd, right? Where they're like, hey man, 60% North American. We're doing pretty good. You used to be so like, man, we need them all here. Like low key,
We
yeah.
do.
What Deuce Volt said. JoJo in jail. Like I
Bro,
thought you guys were gonna go
I
try to
know,
crack that.
but we're clearly like EG is clearly demanding a high price on that. Otherwise, I would bet
I want to know
$1,000,000 we
why,
would have.
how that's allowed.
What?
Almost
What do you mean? He's got a
what they're doing
contract.
with JoJo. I know, but like, I feel like when a org does something that egregious, you should allow players to
We need that Riot
almost. I know it
investigation to come
sounds
through.
dumb. Like there's
No,
nothing.
no,
There's really
it's
nothing they
perfectly
can
fine.
do.
Like if your organization is intentionally sabotaging portions of your career, which by the way, I'm not making that claim because I now have to be way more fucking careful with my words apparently.
Well, yeah,
Uh
yeah.
like the EG investigation should uncover that from Riot Games,
Yeah.
and then Riot would absolve. Like if there's any true malpractice ongoing here, then technically JoJo's contract would be null and void, and JoJo would be free to do what he wants without repercussion. Technically,
Yeah.
by legal standards, you can't breach your
Because
contract.
this is probably
and
the worst contract jail I've ever seen. Like,
oh yeah, oh
you
my
can
god, yeah.
you can complain about back in the day with Sven, right, in TSM, or with Tenacity and 100 Thieves last year. You
Yeah.
can say those were whatever, but this is like, this is crazy to me. Like at least 100 Thieves and TSM were like, hey man, we'll get you. You're still on a competitive roster. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
still competing for first. 100 Thieves was like, we're gonna give you a starting spot next year. Like it's yours. I would say they paid him back, type deal. Like
Yeah.
we know we screwed you over. We're paying you back, and they're letting him shine. But like what EG is doing to this man is like mental warfare. It's what G2 does to players.
Yeah.
And I
Oh
hate to
yeah.
say it, it's what G2 does to players. And I don't think EG wants to be in that area because G2 can get away with it because they're G2 and for some reason people don't care. I don't think EG is going to get away with it though.
No, I don't think so either. I think the reputation of what they've done now is going to be bad. They'll attract, obviously, like they'll get people that if they wouldn't have a job otherwise, they'll go and play. But I don't think you're going to get people that are ultimately like fans of EG anymore. The fact that they're willing to just cut almost every player from this org because of financial issues. I'm sitting there, if I'm a free agent looking in on this, I'm thinking, why the hell would I ever go with you whenever I don't know what you're doing with your money?
Well,
Like
they
that.
barely have enough money for the
Yeah, like the number one
for
thing I'd be
challenger
asking
team.
in my interviews if I'm a player going in there is like, show me your books. Like
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
see your financials before I sign shit with you, because I want to know if you have the cash flow to be able to pay me, even if you do promise me 100K.
This is not what we meant when we said we wanted Moose Hater in LCS.
Yeah.
we didn't mean this. Stop it, EG. Stop it. You're just gonna see me come behind EG and start smacking him in the back of the head like, quit it. Quit ruining people. Quit it. Leave them alone. Leave Moose Hater alone. Dang it. That's what we need, though. We need. Imagine EG just goes full heel and is like, "All right, we're taking another E-boy, and we're just gonna run our own team."
Oh
The
god.
E-boy era of EG. I mean, hey, but they're at least living up to the name.
Oh
We can
yeah.
give them credit there.
My favorite. I spit my drink out at work whenever I saw somebody comment that this isn't the Bud Light Ace, this is the Chevron spill. I was like,
Yes.
oh no.
Chevron spill, bud.
Oh no.
They really signed for a gas company just
They
to
did.
drop everybody.
They
How are
did.
you gonna take oil money and
I
say
know.
we're broke?
Like that's the worst part, is like we sat here on this call trying to validate how you take that Chevron partnership. It's like, well, you know, if they're getting enough money to fund the org, they do some sort of rewards program, loyalty thing.
Yeah.
What the fuck has that partnership brought them?
Yeah, with all their
Nothing.
players who probably don't drive anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, do the LCS players even drive? Most of them talk about not driving.
No, I can't imagine many do at all.
Yeah,
Like double
and
lift,
they're like,
obviously, but like beyond that, I
yeah,
doubt many.
like most of them aren't even driving, and they're like, we need this. We need this right now. They
Oy,
really
oy.
went full live golf tour.
They did. They did. They even got the same colors and everything. It's
Yep.
great.
But
Wait, I want to address Deuce Vaults. He said, not sure if we covered it. But since, ha, wait, not since how
oh,
all in on LCS 100 Thieves is right now, because that one Nate Shot interview seems like he's more invested in the other games. Look, 100 Thieves has always been well diverse in a lot of shit that they do. And that's
mhm,
not me kissing ass to anybody either. It's like every time that they've gotten into an esport, people have claimed that they didn't care for the first little bit, and then they fix some of the problems and it slowly starts to take off. And then they'll have these portions where they dip and things kind of sputter out and it doesn't look good, but then they revamp and they continue to try and improve from there. Like, you can't expect, and I think League fans are probably the most guilty of this, you cannot expect teams to be on all the time. You have to have those down years. It's just natural. You cannot, like, if you continue to pay the top teams, the top players all the time, you will take yourself bankrupt right now. It's
mhm,
just not good business. So there are going to be stretches of time where you are down. That doesn't
yep,
mean that they don't care. The important part is whenever a move needs to be made, you want to make sure that there is one being made. And like all these signings today should signal to anybody that said that 100 Thieves was just phoning it in that they are clearly not. Because this signing of Quid is more indicative to me that 100 Thieves have figured out their scouting shit more than anything else. They're not going with the older EU talent to plug and play. They're not going with a veteran LCK talent who's been around for a while. They're
yep.
picking up the young guns. The model that C9 was doing, that FlyQuest is doing to a certain extent with Vikla. Vikla a little bit less so because he obviously has played already. But like, this is exactly the same praise that people gave for Berserker and MNS, and 100 Thieves is doing the exact same thing.
And you don't need owners anymore as involved as you did in the past. Like, you're not going to get those Reggie, Steve, or Hotshot like hair bets and money bets for charity because it's just not how it is anymore. It's just not feasible. Like, it used to make sense for them to come out and do those bets, but now it's like we don't need owners on the main stage. Let your players do it. I think owners are realizing the show's not about them. It's more about the players. Like, and that's how it should be. Like, the org tries to keep the fans, yes, but your players are your asset that you're selling, and that's why you're paying them all that money. They should be doing that work, not an owner. An owner shouldn't be promoting things. That's the player's job,
Yes
coach's
and
job.
yes and no. The one exception being if you have content creators or people that are part of the org that eventually become owners, like a
For
Courage,
sure.
like a
I mean,
Valkyrie,
yeah,
stuff like that.
their
And
role won't change really.
no, but the big announcement for me today with the MSI co-streaming stuff was that they're now allowing teams to co-stream the entire
Yeah.
tournament, which is great. If I'm a 100 Thieves fan, I'm looking at John Robinson, at Nate Shaw, and everybody else being like, look, y'all get a stream going the entire tournament and just start watching NA tournaments as a 100 Thieves fan. Start building this. Have Courage
Hmm.
come on and talk about it occasionally. Have Rotate, or, 100 Thieves cannot do it. It has to be teams that are specifically playing in the tournament uh, that have the ability to do it. But for FlyQuest and Golden Guardians, you should have a stream up 24/7 watching
Wait,
this
is it
tournament.
just teams that are in?
Just teams that are in it. That is the very specific rule. So the for NA it is just
I was gonna
obviously the
say,
teams that we sent, and then it's G2 and Mad Lions.
is
But
C9 doing a stream? What?
I don't
Something
know, but it
sneaky.
would be smart to. Like
Yeah.
what I would do is if I'm C9, I would pay or I would try and sign Meteos and Sneaky to run a 24/7 like C9 MSI stream. anytime that an MSI game is on, they're co-streaming on the C9 channel. And that becomes a hub for C9 fans that, yeah, they might like go away for a bit and like not watch some of the international games. But when C9 is playing, that viewership should spike. It's the same way that the Optic watch parties are set up, and they've done incredibly well. And the same reason why Zuma and the FaZe watch parties have also done with the flank. Like, I really do think that the team watch party aspect
Yeah.
of this is a clear-cut way forward.
It's just so weird to me that it's only teams that are there, though.
I mean, you have
Like-
co-streamers otherwise. I actually kind of like it because it's an added benefit of them qualifying.
I guess, but I don't get why you wouldn't want other orgs to like promote your game as well, or is that directly involved?
So let me pull up Riot Swim Bananas, who is like the
Because granted, I don't know what article you're talking about. I don't watch co-streams anyways.
neither do I. It was just, I have LoL esports notifications like turned on, so I get notified of anything.
And I have no idea what the co-streaming crowd actually likes.
So Riot Swim Bananas put out a statement. Let me put this on stream just so that people can see it. MSI co-streaming finally. This has taken a long time to get approved, so party emoji. Allowing co-streamings or allowing co-streams isn't always a simple matter. Big events like MSI and Worlds have a lot of contracts, sponsors, and broadcast partners, so rebuilding the tools to allow this to happen takes time. The reason why you probably only are seeing the teams that are in the tournament being able to co-stream is because there's probably an agreement upon sponsors that are specifically there for MSI and for these tournaments, that yes, we only want the teams that are officially there, and then obviously like the Riot partnered people that Riot can specifically force to do this. But like other teams that are not in the tournament, I kind of get why sponsors might be a little bit more dickish on not letting them do it.
I can see it. Like if you're trying to make sure that everything is family friendly, what have you, I can definitely see it. Why you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
It just seems odd to me that they went through all that just for teams to do it, but I guess it makes sense. I wonder how hyped those are going to be, or how hyped up the team co-streaming events are. I mean, no, I know we keep harping on them, but who at Golden Guardians would even co-stream that you think would get 6K viewers? Like,
Anero. I think if Anero did it consistently, which he's not going to because that's not his job, but at the moment, nobody.
Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Bro, Steph Curry don't even know what
No, he ain't got no
Golden
clue.
Guardians is.
That's the tough part. And that's where I think the future of this lies. Because having the ability for orgs to spot out League of Legends content creators that also believe in your brand, that you can sign them early enough to the point where they're not affected by bias or interest in other teams.
And they're playing in the playoffs right now.
Yeah. That I think is your way forward. Like, I really do. I think, like, if I'm NRG coming into League of Legends right now, and I see that Riot is starting to do this, I'm spotting out at least 2 or 3 League of Legends content creators that I can start making what, like, Yasuo is to 100 Thieves right now, even though way less so, because he basically, like, stopped his affiliation as much and is not really in much of their content at all. I'm signing somebody now and trying to get that buck rolling. And I think it could really work out. Like, really, really well. That's why I said, if you can get me Optic back in the LCS, I promise you I could get this shit to work.
Yeah, I mean, your point makes sense. I get cons too, like NRG could. I just mean, it's weird to me because it's like, I get C9. C9 already has co-streaming people that it makes sense to get them involved with. It's just you're kind of dependent. If you only do the orgs that are here, I feel like you have players, right, from the other orgs who could live stream it. And maybe some of them don't want to, and they don't want to watch the matches. But I'm sure a couple of them would and live stream it back home. And you could get to know those players a little better, or at least what they think about the professional games going on. But just doing, like, I don't know. I just can't think of anyone at Golden Guardians outside of they're pretty big in fighting games. But I don't see
But
how a
yeah, no,
fighting game
that
guy
doesn't
is gonna
translate.
translate over. And those guys usually aren't the most like I've watched fighting game streamers and it's like their streams aren't like something you would watch in another game, I feel like.
Definitely not.
They are really good at what they do, and Golden Guardians knows their brand. I'll give them that.
Yep.
I just don't know if it translates over the league. I don't even know if they felt that prepared for this, to be honest. I don't think they expected this.
No,
Like,
I don't think they did either.
but hey, I like that they're trying things at least. At least they're pushing forward. Like, at least Riot's doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And going out of their way and innovating right now. Like, we at least can't keep complaining they're not trying something. Granted, they're doing everything online still.
Yeah.
They're not pushing like watch parties and things. They're pushing
No.
co-streaming.
Like that.
Which, well, I take that back because watch parties would be really tough at 7 a.m.
I mean, yes and no. It depends. Wait, is the official schedule out for MSI yet?
Yeah, it starts 7 a. Well, 8 a.m. for you.
Oh, I know what time they start, but I wasn't sure if like the official like times of the games has been announced. Like, do we know when Golden Guardians is playing their first round matchup?
Yeah,
Yes, we
they're
do.
on the schedule.
Oh,
I just
okay.
don't know which day they're on.
They play Wednesday, May 3rd at 11 a.m.
Hmm. Yeah, this schedule sucks for me, bro.
I know. It's great.
You know
for
when
me.
I
I'll
get
be in
off
office.
work? 7.
Yeah.
I go to bed at 7 right now, or 7:30.
I mean, honestly though, for North America, for games starting, first game starting at 8 a.m., second game at 11, and you always assume that the Western teams are going to get the later game and the Eastern teams are going to get the early game. That's pretty good. Like, EU time zone's actually not bad for international events, all things considered.
No, and we get the time zone that Riot thought was the good one, anyways.
I hate you.
What?
I hate you.
What?
I know.
This is what they thought was prestige.
I know.
This should be our peak. This should be our peak viewership. I don't know why you're laughing at that. Like, this will be peak viewership.
Yeah, I know. I hate you.
Don't blame me, here's my stats board. Let me throw an Excel sheet at you to tell you why this time frame is so good.
I mean, for London
But-
local time zone though, that's not that bad. They're 6 hours behind.
No,
they're
it's not.
they're starting at like dinner time. That's pretty good. And it's like English Premier League games start just a little bit later than this. So it's not all that bad for them. Like they're trained for these time zones. So ultimately it will be fine.
I think it'll be totally fine. I think people who have to get up early or work nights are screwed, but that's just life. Not every schedule's for you. And it's like, it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to be tough for me. I'm going to have to watch a lot of VODs. But we'll see how NA does. How we represent, I guess. I mean, the player stats that came out didn't look fantastic for us.
No,
Not terrible.
They're never going to.
Yeah.
I'm not worried. I said this before, and I'll keep saying it. We have yet to drop out in group or in playing stage, and I don't think that starts now. I think Golden Guardians does get on to the next stage, whether people like to admit that or not.
Yeah, people are very like, now who knows at the end of the day? Like, you don't know because we haven't seen GAM play in years, like at this point. But
Well, we saw them play
people
Worlds.
seem. Was it Worlds?
They were at Worlds.
They were bad. I thought they sucked.
I mean, yeah, they weren't good, but I'm saying they were there. Is the point? And I was talking to the owners of GAM for like two of their games.
Yeah, because I just not convinced of the people saying like, "Oh man, GAM's like back." Like, there's a big crowd on that. Like, they're gonna kill us. Like, Vietnam's gonna crush us, and I'm like, dude, what is telling you that? Like, what are you basing that on?
Yeah.
Because I don't remember like seeing them dominate us in 3 years. I guess
I mean,
that would have been a better way to word it. Like I
we,
haven't seen them do anything competitive in 2 years.
we've lost
Ish.
best of ones. Like, I'm not denying that. But, like, when we're losing best of ones in group stage, where neither one of us is making it out anyways, I don't really consider that to be all that effective. Like, if Vietnam was getting out of groups, then sure. If Vietnam 2Cs were knocking us out in play-ins, then sure. But the reality is, we lose in group stage, as does everybody else that's not China or Korea. And when it comes to play-in stage, we don't lose. So, I think, honestly, Golden Guardians beats GAM. I think we lose to Billy Billy. I think predicting us over LPL would be just flat-out insanity. G2 likely qualifies from the bottom side of the bracket. But if they don't, that means that PSG Talon gets it. And then we face off in a best of 3 against either G2 or PSG to qualify.
Yeah, and it really all comes down to, like, I mean, the Billy Billy game is, like, pretty easy to guess because it's, like,
Yeah.
unless Licorice just keeps playing out of his mind, I don't know what their plan is.
Maybe. Bin shaking in his
Yeah,
boots.
is he? You think Ben's shaking?
Maybe.
Like,
Who
if we lose to, like, if we lose to Loud or DFM or Movie Star, it's just like, bro, it is what it is.
Yeah.
This is a
Then we suck.
doomsday scenario. Yeah, this
if
is
that happens, then
doomsday.
yeah, like then we got problems. Like if we
Now, granted, I won't deny I didn't want to send this team here anyways. I know I sound like a hater, and people probably are tired of hearing me say that, but I would have rather set FlyQuest, to be honest.
I don't think it matters. I think either way, I think either team ends up in the exact same spot, and that is
Hopefully.
going to group stage and getting 6 out. That's
Yeah, I'm
I
just
feel
worried about
confident
them.
in that.
I'm worried about when they caught heat. That's my best way to explain it. Like, I know FlyQuest hadn't been hot for a minute, but the way Golden Guardians caught fire at a certain time, and then caught fire at a certain time, but they've also had really low lows. Like, I can almost see a world where they choke a couple best of threes just before they can catch fire again.
I mean, sure, but at the same time, we could have also sent FlyQuest, and FlyQuest sputtered out and never recovered.
Yeah, I just feel like with FlyQuest, I felt more comfortable saying, yeah, I think they're better than these teams. Like, they have more,
That doesn't
I'd say,
that
stronger
to
parts.
me that means sure they have stronger parts, but you know what? If your parts can't get it done in NA, why the fuck do I have confidence in you to get it
I
done on the
know.
international stage?
I'm just saying sometimes I like sending the higher floor.
I think that's the exact same philosophy that
I
we've
get
had
they
for the
earned
last
it.
5 years, and look where that's gotten us.
Yeah. I mean, you're not
Nowhere.
wrong.
Nowhere.
I know you're not wrong. It's
So,
true.
if you
very
think that
true.
I'm gonna fall in line with the philosophies that we've had every single time
Yeah.
prior to this, I'm not. Sorry.
Very true. You swung me. You made a good point. Like, that is true.
I've convinced like 240 other people on Twitter that apparently 100 Thieves are winning the split. So I would say I'm doing a pretty good job of convincing people.
You haven't
today.
convinced them. They're just all morons, too.
What do you mean they're all morons? Fuck you.
Morons.
You say morons, I say hopium. So much hopium
Yeah,
to the
well,
point
you
where
know
we are
what?
hot,
When my
we are
team
hotboxing it and
disappears,
giving people cancer.
I'm just gonna be honest. Like, if my team can't have fun, I'm gonna be honest to other people, too. Sucks, doesn't it?
Nope, because I got a brand new mid laner and I don't give a
You all
fuck.
suck.
Congrats.
Yeah, but I'll be here to remind people. What
Yeah,
they said.
and I'll be here to remind you after the season's done that you got to pick a team. So
Yeah,
you
and I'll
figure
still be talking shit.
okay, and I'll keep talking
I can
shit
talk
too.
from the bottom. People
I
still
can-
look down.
And I can talk from the middle currently.
Yep. You're both bad. C9 getting the W. Probably true, to be honest. Probably.
I mean, yeah. You hold a gun.
I mean, with the way things are going,
You hold a-
probably
You hold a gun to my head and say, you have to pick one team to win summer. I wonder who I'm gonna pick. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe the defending champions.
Well, it depends. If Vulcan goes to fly,
If Vulcan goes to fly,
that
I
would
think
be
our top 3 are gonna be nuts next split. I think
Nuts.
if 100 Thieves clicks like I'm expecting them to, and then you have Vulcan on FlyQuest and a solid C9, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I pray
Has
to
TL
God we
cut
don't have teams
anybody?
that collapse. No, not yet. Oh well,
I'll just
technically,
leave that there.
technically yes,
I know
technically
their
yes.
coach. I bet players.
No, to my knowledge, nothing has changed there, and I wouldn't have confidence that anything is
They're
going to
about to
change
be
there.
getting Vietnam flashbacks in the jungle, but
You're not wrong.
they could. I think it would help TL, and this is me trying to help America, because really I want America to win.
Yep.
I think it would be beneficial if you let somebody know. I don't know who to play jungle, just anybody. You could probably take Inspired. He could speak a different language than the team and probably do better, to be honest.
Yep.
He could talk in whatever, I don't know which European country he's from. He could speak in his home language, and it would probably do better than what we're seeing right now with pings. Pings only. They could be a ping team,
I
and it
mean,
would be fine.
I'm looking at somebody that they already got on their content team that we know is coming back this split, but we don't know to who yet.
Who?
Blippo. He teased in an LS stream that he may or may not have signed with the team already. So you're telling me you take Piosic jungle over Blippo?
No, I'll take Popo. I just don't think he's that. I don't think he's their savior for
No,
their
I don't
problems.
think he's their savior either, but I do think he makes them better.
He makes them better. I just mean I think Inspired does a lot of things better.
Agreed. But I think
It's
Inspired wants
probably
to go
going
back.
home.
I think he wants to go back to EU.
Who's
I
taking
don't think
it?
he wanted to come XL or Heretics.
That makes sense, I guess. But
I think Inspired personally has wanted to go back to EU. I don't think he ever wanted to come to NA, for being honest.
hmm,
Like
maybe, yeah.
because the only reason he came here was because it was Rogue that he was on. Wasn't it Rogue?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rogue cockblocked him and did the typical EU thing of like, oh well, we're not going to let you go to anybody on our side of the competition.
Yep.
So guess what? You're going overseas. Now, granted, luckily he came over and won, which made it a little bit easier for him to resign for another year. But if he gets the chance to go back to EU, I highly doubt he's passing it up.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him. I mean, why would you not go back to EU? I feel like being able to well, that's a tough argument actually. Being able to play in EU and be decent, probably better long term for you and getting paid more.
Yeah.
But EU's also got a lot more to replace you.
But if you're a competitor, you will go where the competition is. You're not
Probably
worried
true.
about it. If you're worried about job security, he'll stay in
100%
NA.
true.
But I don't think he is. Like
No, I'm not saying getting paid more happens in NA. I'm saying EU. He'll get paid more and he'll.
yeah, he'll get
Oh, I
paid
was
more, but
responding to chat.
no,
Sorry.
I know I saw COD. Like he'll get paid more in EU, but there's a higher chance that he doesn't have a job after a year in EU if he doesn't perform. That's the point.
Yeah.
Whereas in NA, you're taking a slight pay cut potentially, but you're also guaranteeing a job. Because the odds of anybody being better than Inspired in NA
Yeah.
as of right now are slim to none without importing further.
Yeah, there's just not enough.
No.
Like EU is so competitive right now, it's insane.
It was also funny to watch. Before we go into subtopics, the amount of people freaking out about the import rule this week, I kind of found funny. I know
The 3/5 one?
yeah, I know we've touched on it before, and I've made
Mhm.
my feelings
One sec.
abundantly clear that you need to pick one side or the other. You either need to just abolish the import rule entirely, or you need to keep it as is and arguably make it more strict. Just pick one and go with it. I don't care which way we go ultimately because I'm a fan of teams and not players. And while it would suck to not have North American players in a North American league, if that's the global rule, then it's fine because we're shifting long-term expectations. Whereas if it was just the LCS being like, oh, we're gonna have this special rule for us, then it feels like shit. And that's why I didn't like the Australia rule, like of us getting specific priority over them. It's like, no, I don't like being given a specific advantage as a region out of pity. I hate that. So either make it all or nothing. We're all on the same playing field, and we try and figure out how to problem solve this together. If that means that we end up importing everybody in America, but also our players can go overseas and play over there if they want to, then great.
Yeah. I mean, I can see I agree that like I don't think upping the import rule really saves the game, I guess, in any way to me, but I feel like it doesn't really do a lot other than help for sure the minor regions, which if that's what you're trying to do, then fine. Like I guess minor regions and us. Teetering regions, is that the best word to say?
Yeah.
Like a teetering area, it would help a ton. And I get that. I get that's what people are going for. But I don't really know if that's inherently great. Like it hasn't worked yet doing this um kind of good, kind of bad, like helping imports get here, but then all of a sudden it doesn't lead to anything and they clearly can't beat their home regions. Like China and Korea are still dominating everybody.
Yep.
So what's the point in going through all this trouble of bringing all these people here if we're just going to keep losing? And we're starting to get to the point where 60% of your team is from another country.
Or in
And
last year's scenario, 100 Thieves, 100% of our team was from somewhere else.
yeah, it's actually true. Or you get the TL situations where there are players here for so long that we're either A, trying to grab them as native players, or B, just grabbing players from academy simply because they can speak Korean.
Yeah.
I mean, I get Yeon and uh,
A-
what's the other one's name?
Ayla
Harry,
or Harry on, yeah.
Harry and Neon. They're good players and they were doing well in academy. Like they were doing great. They were killing a lot of people, but I don't think Harry was the mid laner that was their first choice. If I had to guess, I think he was just their choice because he fit what type of team they were trying to build.
Yeah.
And you have FlyQuest too. FlyQuest is dang near a foreign team.
They basically are. Yeah, you got to speak on. Oh well, it's Impact. Speak as American. Vic
Yeah.
was foreign.
And when I
Prince was
say foreign, I
Wow,
mean like
you're right.
dead, like they speak in a different language when they're playing type teams. I'm not saying like, oh, the some of the EU players we bring over who end up speaking English with the teams, or some of the Korean players like Huni who speak very good English and they sound fine. Like I'm saying like these teams are bringing over coaches and players and parts to make sure that they just speak another language entirely. That's kind of wild. I've not seen that
Yeah.
in
It
sports very often.
it's just one of those that like this is a moment where I'm really happy that I'm a fan of a team over anything else, because it's like people are like, "Oh, another import that's coming over for 100 Thieves that might leave after a year." It's like, "Okay, well, I'm a 100 Thieves fan. If they help me win now, like my fandom is stuck." So, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how it goes. I know there's the whole LCS doomer conversation going on right now. Just people think it's dying, and we got our own bigger issues to worry about, but I'm not too overly worried about it, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing that everyone's going to be focused on, at least going into this season and off season, is they're going to keep arguing the viewership thing till it turns around, which I don't think it'll end up killing the league. I think the league will survive.
It'll survive. It's just gonna drop to like it's gonna look entirely different from what it does now. The LCS is not
Yeah,
gonna
they're going
like.
to have to do something Call of Duty style, like completely revamp internally, like have a really hard heart to heart conversation.
Yep. And that's it's gonna be tough for them to have, but I have faith that they'll at some point have it. I have faith that
Yeah.
they won't ultimately let this die. But what was I gonna say? There was a separate point I was gonna say. Was it related to Call of Duty? I don't think it was related to Call of Duty. If I can remember it, I'll say it. But you go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking too, like you're well off too that you're getting a new CEO. I mean, not well off in what happens. Like you don't want anyone retiring for health problems, but more so in the fact this is a time where probably a lot of reflection has to happen. So at least you'll get a new face in there to see what goes on with the future. I mean, Riot Global is their own thing. They'll decide whether or not we do imports or not. What was it?
No, I remembered it. We'll be good. You can keep going.
Yeah, I was saying Riot Global will do their own thing with the imports. I don't think the NA like leadership, and I mean high brass, is really worried about what happens there. Maybe the teams are, but any import change would be a couple years too late.
Yep. And what I was gonna say is, it makes me so happy though that of all the big changes going on, you have people like LS even saying that maybe we should move the LCS to New York City.
Did he really?
He did. You have no
Why'd he say
idea.
that?
You have no fucking idea how much I smiled when he said. Now, granted, he said like Chicago and listed a few other places as well, obviously.
Why'd he say that?
Because basically, it was the why do we have it in LA? Like his was based on like the Riot Singapore becoming HQ thing, which I got in a lot of hot water for, and it basically all none of that was true, but it was if Riot moved their HQ to Singapore, why does the LCS have to stay in LA?
Yeah.
And basically, it started this whole conversation around it would be beneficial to move the LCS somewhere else. To which I don't think anybody disagrees with that at this point. The reason why they stay in LA right now is because you have the studio and you have Riot Global there. Like you have all of the the people there that make the game, but let's be honest. Do you really need to be there for the esport? We're not making the game. Like sure, the studio and the production facility is by far and away the most important part. But if you have that elsewhere, then you don't need to be in LA.
And I hate to say it, but hey, there's a lot of good things that come with going to the northeast side, midwest side, only because of grit. Sometimes players need to learn this grit lifestyle. That's
Yep.
happening out here in the Midwest and the Northeast. Like 6 months without the sun teaches you to be a man.
Yep.
It pushes you to hell and back. And LA is just such a chill, nice place. I can see why people relax there. Think about Korea, not a fun place to live during winter. Not
Nope.
fun at all. Great League of Legends. Europe, not the most fun to live in most places. Great League of Legends. What happens in America? We put them in the happiest place. Bad League of Legends. Really bad. Bad. I would say worst of all the major regions. But what happens when we put them in a place that sucks to live? Good League of
Whoa.
Legends.
Whoa. New York does not suck to live in. It's just bitterly
Okay.
cold
Yeah,
in the
our
winter.
places don't suck. The only problem is, like,
Compared to
we
LA,
get
like, yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say I live in Indy, which is probably furthest removed from New York and Chicago's issue of these boys are about to learn what lake wind is or ocean wind in winter, and that is not something anyone should have to go through, in my opinion. It is not meant to be lived through. There's no reason people lived there other than port cities, and it's disgusting, in my opinion, to have to go through it. Now, do I wish it on my worst enemy? No. But do I think it would make some gritty personalities who would win League of Legends?
Oh,
More than likely, because
fuck
you're not
yeah.
leaving. Who goes outside? Who goes outside when it's cold?
I I still maintain the view of what we talked about last week. Give me a lull park in New York City.
I mean, yeah.
And
That's just so much money and
I
everything.
think it pops the fuck off. I agree. I think Chicago is still ultimately like the best answer.
That's where
It's
if they're gonna change, that's where the players are gonna want it
yeah, in Chicago.
because of ping.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. And playing on a zero ping environment there and having
Yeah.
all the practice facilities, everything like that I think that would be great. I really do. And I
Like,
ultimately
granted,
think
they're gonna have to go north of Chicago.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Or
like
south. You can go west of Chicago. I wouldn't go southeast.
why is
Gary's
that?
not where I would.
Why is that,
I
Paul?
would. I would not set up in Gary,
Why
Indiana. Is all I'm
why
saying.
why is that, Paul?
Gary, Indiana is known like region wide for what it is. You know what it is. You
No,
know why nobody wants to be in Gary.
I actually don't
Oh,
know.
you don't know? Oh,
No.
Gary's like known as one of the most dangerous cities
Oh shit, really?
in America. Yeah, no joke. Like, Gary's
Why?
terrible. Like, semi drivers purposefully go around it.
Wow.
Like a lot of semi drivers I talk to that drive through the Midwest.
So it's like Kansas City and The Last of Us. You just don't go
Hey, you
through.
don't mess with Gary. You don't mess with Gary. See, Charlie knows. He knows you don't mess with Gary. Gary is another breed.
So what you're saying is we need to put him in downtown Gary.
Oh,
That's not. You're talking about toughening him up. Like
wrong type of grit. Wrong type of grit. We're talking about Chicago grit. Maybe Chicago's not the place. Chicago grit is a different type of grit.
come to New York then. That's fine by me.
Now, I can say that though because Indy, not to brag, but we just passed Chicago for murder rate, so get wrecked, losers, catch up. But um, Midwest grit is a different breed. I'll say that.
Of all the things to get wrecked on, that's
Yeah,
the one you pick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, okay. When I was selling it, I was gonna leave that part out, but eventually people are gonna figure it out. You know,
Yeah.
like I will admit. There are probably safer places to play League of Legends.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I look. Ultimately, I think it just boils down to if Valorant is going to be taking the Riot Studio on weekends. I I really think you put the LCS back on weekends. If I'm being honest, I really do. And I think you put it out in Chicago. That's just my hypothesis on it.
I mean, yeah, there are enough people in Chicago to not sell out your arena like they're doing with LA right now. Like,
And
we can continue this same one.
if you're truly worried about selling it out, then you put it in New York. But you're not because you're
Yeah.
selling out a 300 seat arena is not ultimately your highest priority. But I just think coming out to the East Coast is going to be better. And again,
And I think you actually up ticket sales
oh yeah,
because it's drivable.
are you okay? Coco's ball. Emily might have just rolled her ankle on Coco's ball.
Oh, that sucks.
Never mind, she might have
I mean,
sprained her toe.
Trying to think.
I got under my toenail.
Oh, under her toenail.
Oh.
That's impressive.
Ugh.
That's impressive.
Wait, did the toenail rip off?
Stuffed it the other day, and it's like.
Oh.
Oh, she broke her toenail
had
the
that.
other day.
Oh.
Ow.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
See?
fucking just
Grit. What'd I tell you?
exactly grit. You don't get
Grit.
you don't get that out in L.A.
You
don't
don't
get that.
You don't.
Out in L.A., they'd be going to the hospital. They'd be pampered the entire time. Meanwhile, she's over here figuring her shit out.
Granted,
the-
that could just be because of the American healthcare system, but
Yeah,
that's a whole other argument.
No, ignore that part.
Yeah.
Keep the grit. It's about the grit, nothing else.
Yeah. But they what was the other one? Oh yeah, I was thinking like you could totally sell more tickets because a drive to Chicago, like a 5 or 6 hour drive to Chicago and staying the night over a weekend, not as big a deal as flying to LA for a Thursday, Friday. Which is what the current situation is. I know most of the time it was Saturday, Sunday, and people still weren't doing that. But flights to LA are also like $400.
Yeah.
One way from where I live. So flying to LA for League of Legends, I am not spending $1,000 to see something live.
And flying to Chicago from New York is obviously way
Yeah.
easier as well. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's gonna be. I hope it happens. But let's move on to the one sub take to anybody in chat who does not know at the end of each week, or hopefully each week. Sometimes we don't end up getting to it based on the news. If you're a subscriber to this Twitch channel, you get access to the subtext, and people can put in their takes, and me and Paul will react to some of them and see what's going on and pick our thoughts on it. So Khan asks, would it be better for the LCS and an NA fan if we what? Would it be better for the LCS as an NA fan if we were treated like a minor region and only sent one team to international tournaments? It would mean that the only winner of the LCS gets a spot, would put more value on winning the LCS, and would force all of NA to come together to root for one team. You tell me.
No.
I'm with you. Not.
I don't think it helps.
We're not rallying around one team. We haven't done that for MSI over the last few years. What the fuck makes you think it's gonna change just because it's Worlds instead of MSI?
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see a world where it's helpful to not send more teams. Like, at least right now, Golden Guardians is about to get a lot of exposure. Possible fans. I know I'm a big hater of them, but they're gonna have people who love them. And I don't see how it helps to only send C9. Because also, I'm just not gonna, like, I'm gonna be honest, you ain't getting me to come around. Like, if we just sent C9, like, have fun, but I'm gonna do the same thing I do every time they go to MSI, and I'm gonna go like this. Good luck, buddy. And when they lose, say, oh, that's tough. And that's about it.
And if they make it
Like,
to semifinals, would you cheer?
yeah, I do for them if they get out of groups.
Okay.
If like groups is the one area where I just don't like. I'm not gonna feel patriotic enough to cheer for a team in my region because usually I'm just like, we'll see how they do. Because if they don't make it out, I get to laugh at them.
But now that we don't have a group stage in this tournament, basically, it's bracket play the entire time. Does that change your perspective?
That's a good point.
I'm not gonna lie, it does.
It does. It does a lot. Like best of threes has changed a lot of my mindset. Like when I saw best of threes for Golden Guardians, I was like, oh, like, I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna sound weird, but my brain went, oh, I have to like cheer for them now. Fuck. Like,
yeah.
That's honestly what I thought. I was like, dang, I gotta like go and cheer for this team now from the jump. Like, there's not a single second where I can sit there and go, man, I hope Brazil beats this team because I just want to see them all tilt. Like, I can't do that now because if Brazil beats them,
yeah, you get knocked down. Like, there's no longer those meaningless games where like you can lose it, but it doesn't ultimately matter. It's funny in the grand scheme of things. Now, like, if we lose to Brazil, there's big fucking repercussions to losing to Brazil. Like, we cannot afford to do that. Especially if we ultimately end up merging with CBLOL one day. The last thing I need is us merging on a note of them winning.
Yeah, like, I don't want to be the guy who sits there and says, oh man, we suck as a region this bad that we're losing to Brazil. Like, I don't want to do that. So, like, that I will cheer for. But those best of ones, I would just laugh because I was like, ha 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 ha, that's funny. Like, they got upset by somebody. But now it's like it matters, which I get is good. Every game matters. Boo hoo. Great. Thanks. But now I gotta actually cheer for my enemies.
Good.
Technically.
Good.
Probably still won't cheer for C9. I don't know when I would. it probably wouldn't be
Look,
till finals.
I get it. That wound is probably a little bit too deep for you, just cause I get it. But
Same with CLG.
well, CLG's not in the league anymore, so
Yeah, that helps. But I mean, we're not gonna be either. But they TL is like one of the few teams I would actually cheer for because I had no problems with them.
I mean,
Like I just didn't care.
I get it.
Like at the
You know me,
time, I
I'll cheer
thought
for
double
anybody.
lift was annoying, but but that's just I was like, that's how he always was. That's how he was for me. So good luck for thee. That's why I wouldn't hate on him because he would be annoying on TL and trash talk us, but I was like, you got what you paid for. Like
Yep.
we we sent him away, so I wasn't gonna sit here and like hate on him, but like C9 I just don't cheer for because it's just deeper than that. We've been playing them for since I started watching.
I get it.
It's just how it is. Them and CLG.
There's really nobody that like I actively dislike
Except me.
in League other than Emily, that I can actively think of.
Yeah, but if we sent one team, it would be hilarious. Like it would be like, well, it's just like all other MSIs. You saw how that went.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We'd
It's like we have a track record of it. It's not like it.
Yeah, we've seen how that goes. We send one team, and if they're the people who hate them still hate them, and they're going to, and the people who liked them or didn't really care would cheer for them.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna catch me lying. I'm not gonna say I didn't laugh when C9 or when TL choked really, really hard against G2, and I can't put enough emphasis on that. Like I laughed really hard, but at the end of the day, I wanted America to win. I just saw us start losing really fast, and I quickly switched over to
You
let's see how
immediately
fast
jump
this could
ship.
lose. Yeah, I was like I went like this basically to all the copium people. I went, let them cook. Hold up. I was like, let's see how fast we can lose this one.
It turns out we can do it in record-setting pace.
Yeah, we can. Still hasn't been broken type of pace. Like, we are good when we suck. We are the best at it. You ain't gonna catch me not laughing.
I don't know if I'm proud of that or not. I can't tell. You said it with such passion that I'm kind of buying into it.
Yeah, because, like, that's my thing, though. You're not the same type of person as me. You get sad when NA loses.
Yeah, I do.
I sit there and chuckle and I go, good luck, you morons. You can't do it without us.
But that's why I
That's
like
what
it.
I
'Cause
tell myself.
It counterbalances me because then at the same
Yeah.
time, like 100 Thieves makes a single roster change. I'm out here singing praises like we've already won Summer Split, and
True.
you're out here trying to temper expectations and be like, hold up there, Bucko. Like it's not done yet. I'm like, fuck you. We've done it before. We're doing it again. Rocket to the
I
moon,
thought
baby.
it was artistic, like poking the bear when I sent you. I've never even heard of this guy. LOL. Like it's just somebody talking about how good their team is, and then I just come out of nowhere and go, "Who?" I'm like,
Bro, that Jack meme, I'm going to abuse the ever living hell out of it.
"Where's the Jack meme?"
Oh, you didn't see that video that I put? So
No.
for context, it's like my second tweet down. So Courage got his big breakthrough as a content creator when he won a challenge from Mr. Beast. He had to win a Fortnite game for $700,000, and he won it. And the sponsor of the video is a name that you'll like.
I see the one you. Yup.
No,
I saw it. I just didn't. I didn't know his name was Jack. Courage.
Oh yeah.
When you called him Jack, I was like, I don't remember a C9. I thought C9 Jack. That just shows I'm old.
There are three things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and quid.
Yeah, well, you wait.
What?
I can't wait for him to int and people to say, "Oh, check your PayPal. He got paid the quid."
It's either gonna be 100 quid or 0 quid.
Hey, buddy boy.
That's the running joke now. His performance directly determines how many quids he is.
You can do that. You can say quid. Like we need him to QUIDT. It'll look better in Twitch chat because it'll be funny if everyone's putting it.
Look,
And you put brother, brother, please quit.
I am just here for whenever he shits on M&S and life is good. Because everybody, myself included, you know, may or may not have voted for M&S to be MVP of the league. Or not MVP, first team All-Pro. Like, everybody was high on M&S. What's going to happen when Quig comes in and just shits all over him?
It's fine. I'm sure you guys will just blame Bjergsen if he gets bad.
Of course.
We didn't have enough time.
Blame it on Kane.
We just didn't have enough time.
Blame it on Kane's draft.
Hey, you really want to win? How about you use the last of your VC money and go pay for JoJo?
Look,
bail out a dying org.
No, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the last of that VC money and pay for a jungle coach to teach fucking closer more than Wukong, Vi, and Viego. That's what I'm going to do. We do that, we're fine.
Actually.
Yeah. Any final words you want to get out to stream and to everybody else tuning in before I cut it off? Because I need to download this VOD and get it up on the YouTube for tomorrow.
Really just, I hope Europe realizes what's coming at them.
100
like,
quids?
No, I hope they finally realize this is probably going to be our best team yet. You know why? Because we finally put together a roster that doesn't have a single American. We have a shot. C9 is about to cook them. We have a North American. We have a Canadian.
Oh, well, I mean, that logic doesn't hold up because 100 Thieves had no Americans on it last year.
Yeah, but I was more just thinking this roster will finally not get distracted by, like, food or something in Europe, so we'd win, you know? Because we're not native, like, just burgers and stuff. And I was really hoping it'd work. But
No,
you're really killing the vibe.
You're not selling me on this whatsoever.
I think we're gonna win, finally.
Look, that I can buy on. That you turned around my spirits.
Yeah, we're gonna win because we don't have a single American, which is probably a good thing.
And again, you lost me because we've sent teams without Americans before, Paul.
Yeah, but those teams were different.
And besides, Blabber is American.
North American.
No, Blabber's American.
Oh, he became a citizen?
Blabber's not Canadian. Blabber's American.
I thought he was Canadian.
Bro, he's from fucking Maryland.
We're fucked.
He's American.
My whole logic of us possibly winning was that we had a non-American.
You
well, they're not gonna win now. We're not gonna win now. He's probably eating fish and chips. He's even from a seaboard city. Oh dear.
Wait until he finds out what chips are.
It's just fries. He's gonna love it. We're American.
I know. But that's what I'm saying. He's gonna get distracted. He's gonna discover fries, and then all of a
We're
sudden...
in a lot of trouble if our best player's from Maryland.
You're not wrong. Couldn't it at least be like Pennsylvania from like a quad A school? Like something that actually has a little bit of talent and potential? The hell has Maryland ever given us? Wait, hold up.
This really hurts my whole logic. I'm really worried now about MSI. I was feeling really comfortable when I thought about the fact we're just some Canadians and a bunch of others going, you know? Like, we were just a team of misfits, but now that I know we're us, like, I'm worried.
I love how...
America has not been very clutch at League of Legends lately.
I love how Con asked, why are we dunking on Maryland? Why the fuck wouldn't we dunk on him or on Maryland?
I don't really have a problem with Maryland.
I got a problem with Maryland.
Why?
Are you kidding me? They're the boot of our state. And by our state, I mean Pennsylvania.
I didn't know they were more south than Indiana.
Really?
Yeah, that's like we have a guy from there in our unit who's very proud that they're south of the Mason-Dixon line, which
Okay.
probably is a red flag. But
I knew I was gonna eat these words, and I really don't like the fact that I'm eating them this hard.
they're not even more south than us.
I made fun of Maryland, but unfortunately, the greatest Olympian of all time is from Baltimore, Maryland.
Bro, Maryland's actually like.
I know.
Why can say
I
that?
look. It
'Cause
makes
you were dunking on
look.
them, but
No,
they
it
are
makes sense that they got good
good.
swimmers. Okay, like I get it. Okay, Michael
And they
Phelps
have
can be from
Lamar
there. That's fine.
Jackson.
We don't want the Lamar Jackson comparison. We don't want chokers.
Lamar's not a choker.
What notable playoff series has he won?
He's always hurt. It's not
Point
choking.
proven.
It's just your body.
Okay. On that note, stream. We're heading out. We'll catch you all later.
I'm sorry. My closing comment was really misguided. Apparently,
It was. You'll learn. By the time we have this conversation next week, we will have one.
that's
We
gonna
will-
be us after our first series.
Let's not. Okay, no, that's not. We're not starting that bad omen now. We'll be fine. Golden Guardians is gonna win. Don't let anybody lie and tell you otherwise. Anyways, everybody on stream, have a good night. We're heading out. Adios.